It's a field back block, and that's
The guy that rolls his body around.
Mike Drop Sports. Steel City Live.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports. Appreciate y'all for diving in with me here on a Monday. Daniel Warman, what's up, my friend? Big Danny George in the house. What is up? Good to see y'all. We are here as the Pittsburgh Steelers sit 3-1 as they embark through the bye week, and it's very beneficial to them as they continue to climb that ladder at the AFC North and find themselves on top. And there's some interesting topics of conversation right now as the Cincinnati Bengals, I believe, are 2-3. And you look down the ladder and you have the Baltimore Ravens, a disastrous 1-4. You have the Browns likewise, and this thing just seems to continue to fall apart right now for the AFC North, which is usually a really tough division. But I got to remind everybody this, that the AFC North is a division in which teams have found themselves in holes many, many times and have been able to dig themselves out. Sometimes mathematically it becomes too much to overcome, and you're looking at the Ravens and the Browns finding themselves into that spot early in this season. They are finding themselves in a very difficult spot. When you have 4 losses already, it is very, very difficult to overcome. But we will dive in, and today is going to be more of a laid back conversation, and we're just going to dive in, take your questions, take your comments, and we're going to talk about them, and we're going to just have a casual conversation about your first place in the AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers, right now. And everything isn't got to be a negative thing. There are some good things that the Pittsburgh Steelers have done, and then you get worried. Right now, you're heading into 2 ball games that are really, really winnable. They should be really, really winnable. However, they are against AFC North foes. So those games could take a turn, man. The Bengals, the Browns, either team could beat the Steelers really easily. It's the NFL. Every team is very, very good, regardless of record. Everybody is good. And the Steelers got to see, do they get Tomlin here? It's a really, really big spot that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in right now, and it means so much so early in the AFC North. And we all have to realize that right now, that this is going to be big, really, really big. That you have a 2 game stretch, that if you win these 2 games, you don't get Mike Tomlin here. You go out there, you win these 2 games against AFC North divisional rivals, teams that you have fought in battles, real wars. You know, you don't get these wars in the NFL anymore. You really got to look to the AFC North typically to get one of those good old fashioned football games that are what we call wars, real wars, guys, where people are going for it, man, and they're going to murder folks out there, man. And that's a game that you find in the AFC North, and it's hard to find it across the NFL in today's game with the rules the way they are, with the way the NFL has been so laxed in the way that they've wanted to take the violence almost out of the game at times. But you look in the AFC North, and when there's an AFC North matchup, regardless of the records, it's a slugfest, and it's a slugfest every time. And one thing Mike Tomlin has said back in the day, and I don't know exactly how he said it. If I'm saying it wrong, forgive me, man. But when he said, throw style points out the window, you just got to go for it. You just got to get it, man. And that's what an AFC North battle is. You throw everything out the window. You throw records. You throw style points. You throw whatever you thought you knew about yourself as a football team out the window, and you come in and you get ready for a heavyweight fight, a battle, a clash that is always going to be one for the ages. And that is what you got to appreciate and respect about every team inside of the AFC North. No matter what, you are going to have a slugfest each and every time. My Florida's Pink 79. What's up, AK Davis? What's up? Good evening, man. Miss Pittsburgh in the house. Good to see you, Miss Pittsburgh. Robert Road in the house. He says Ravens going to be 1-5 after they lose to the Rams. I don't know how you crawl your way out of that, Robert. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, I don't know how you crawl out of 1-5. I really don't. You have an injured Lamar Jackson, but he will return. You have an injured Roquan Smith. He will return. And you have a vast slew of other problems if you're the Baltimore Ravens. They always go and look and say, fire Harbaugh right away. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. You had so many of those Ravens fans in the chat that I had dealt with all off season long, talking about this is our year, this is our year, this is our year, this is the Ravens' year, Lamar's going to do it, blah, 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 blah. I told them then, I'm going to tell you now, the Ravens are a good ball club, and I'm very shocked that they're not doing better in the regular season because they are a regular season football team. But when it comes down to the playoffs, I don't like them as much as I don't like the Steelers' chances in the playoffs. But I don't know how you're crawling out of there if you're the Baltimore Ravens of a 1-5. Man, a 1-5 start would be so detrimental. Daniel Warman, two things: Lamar Jackson quit on his team, and the Bengals players quit on Zach Taylor. Thanks, buddy. I haven't watched enough of those games, Daniel, to give you my definitive answer on whether I agree or not. And you've watched more than me on those. So I take your opinion for those two teams definitely more than me. The Ravens, I've been looking at a little bit here, and I'm going to start diving into the Bengals. I don't know how you quit as an NFL player. That's what I don't get, Daniel. And you're probably right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, how do these guys quit? When you're making that kind of money, how do you quit? How do you not find that fire in your belly to not play for Zach Taylor, but to play for yourself, play for the team, to have some self respect and not want to go out there and get your ass thumped? That's what I wonder about some of these guys, man. And yeah, the Steelers find themselves in a great spot. The Bengals, they're sitting with 2 wins right now, but they don't have the man. They don't have the master in Joe Burrow, the best quarterback inside of the AFC North and one of the best quarterbacks inside the NFL. And that is a very tough mountain to overcome, though, regardless of any other variable on the Cincinnati Bengals football team, regardless of anything else. Defense, I don't care about anything. Coaching, nothing. When you lose a guy like Joe Burrow, that takes the air out of your sails. It does. He's a franchise quarterback, and they don't come around often. They don't grow on trees. They are very difficult to come by. Look at the Steelers and how they've been in such quarterback flux since the departure and retirement of Ben Roethlisberger. They have been in an absolute disaster until the arrival of Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers isn't putting up eye-popping numbers, but Aaron Rodgers is a wily veteran that's doing what's necessary and just getting through these football games and keeping the Steelers competitive. And that's really what I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to do when he came here. So I'm very ultra proud of what he's been able to do. But the Steelers have been in constant chaos since Ben has retired. That's why the Cincinnati Bengals find themselves in these situations. When you don't go after, and this is a front office staff, and this may be the coaching too. When you don't go after protecting your best investment, your biggest investment, your most return on investment, that investment that you made in Joe Burrow, that's the most return you're probably going to get on any investment that you make at the franchise quarterback spot. That's why these guys got to look at this as a business, because it is a business. So when I make an investment in a player, I got to look at that return. He's going to give me the max on my return, but I have to do the things in order to keep him upright. I have to do the things in order to keep weapons around him so he's able to be successful. And that doesn't mean that you have to have superstar wide receivers, because I think that's a crazy thing too. What the Bengals should have did was, yes, invest in Joe Burrow, but they should have maybe spread some of that money around a little bit and tried to fill out that roster in a more stable way. Get the guys in the trenches solidified, invest some money onto the defense, and realize that you have Joe Burrow and he is going to give you the biggest return on investment. So why not make sure that that investment is protected and taken care of? Yes, Jamar Chase, Higgins, wonderful, great, fantastic players, man. Fantastic players. But I think the Bengals just got a little misguided and put too many eggs into so few baskets. You have to spread that around. And I think hopefully other teams inside of the AFC North, i.e. Steelers, I hope they always realize that you need to protect your max investment, your best investment. You need to protect that like no other. And to spread apart your money a little bit into every little nook and cranny and give yourself a well-rounded football team. Create that depth. Don't allow your football team to just be the starters and then your shit after that. That's the mistake I think most teams make. And I think that's the fatal error that the Bengals have made since that last Super Bowl appearance that wasn't too long ago. They made that mistake. I feel like they had a very well rounded team at that time. They had a team of up and comers, they had a team that was surrounded with good, solid players. Yeah, there were some superstars, but the money was spread around. Everybody was young. Everybody was on those early contracts. And I think that they just got blinded a little bit by just a couple players and it kind of screwed them. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think depth is the most important thing on a football team. And the Steelers are finding that out right now in the secondary. You look at Jalen Ramsey. He's treating this right. You're treating this, if you're the Steelers, like the Joey Porter Jr. injury. And that sucks because a hamstring tear, a tear in the hamstring, a hamstring strain, those are touchy, man, and they're difficult to overcome. But you look at the amount of injuries that the Steelers have had to endure in the secondary already through 4 games of their season and 5 weeks of the NFL season. It just goes to show you that depth is so, so, so important. And the biggest thing that has to be taken care of by front office staff and a coaching staff. And that's the main focus that has to be done, in my opinion. And I think that some of these guys get a little bit um, too much tunnel vision, man. That's my opinion. They need to literally sometimes just step back, look at what they got, and really just stop trying to always go out there and just I got to pay top dollar and have the best player at every at this certain position or that certain position. No, I want steady team type players. Yeah, you're going to pay a guy here or there, some superstars, blah blah blah. Steelers did it with TJ Watt. They went out there and they paid DK Metcalf. Yes, great. But you need to spread that around. You need to create that depth. You need to create just an even ball club, a solid ball club all across. And it's so hard for me to articulate this, but it's just the steadiness that you need inside of that building to know that you can do actually what Mike Tomlin preaches, that next man up shit that he preaches all the time, because that's the truest shit that he ever says. Next man up. That is the truest shit Mike Tomlin says. Next man up, and that's one thing I think teams overlook. Man, that's just my 2 cents. Maybe I get off a little bit on it, but who knows? Mad Probs, we're the best channel in the universe. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Armin. Thank you, my friend. Armin comes in with a question. The AFC teams are, a comment. The AFC teams are not performing yet. Who is your favorite for the Super Bowl this year? I, I don't do a lot of the predictions. You know that, Armin. But I'll say this. When I look at the AFC, I'll give you a handful of football teams, if a handful, that I really like right now. And I have to put the Steelers in there. Why? Because they are a 3-1 football team. They are my least favorite team to go to the Super Bowl. But I can look at the Bills. They're a good football team, regardless of anything that happened last night. Regardless of anything like that against the Patriots, whatever, however that game played out, the Bills are a solid football team. And you look at the Steelers, they can get it done, man. Now the Bengals, those were a team that you would have said to yourself, Joe Burrow, that gives you a chance. He's injured. He's not going to be back. Lamar Jackson, injured. When I don't know when he'll be back. You look at some of the other teams throughout the AFC. I'm going to give you two then. I'll say that right now. My two favorites right now that are the most steady teams are the Steelers and the Bills. I think they're the most two steady teams right now inside of the AFC. Now that's going to change because that's so early. I'm sure that will change. But they are the two steady teams. They win, they get it done. It is what it is. I'm not big on I don't care if you blow people out every week or whatever. I want to win. I get that. I would like to be better. I'd like to be more consistent. And that's all I ask. If I'm running a football team, I want consistency. And I just want you to find a way. I want you to be able to dig deep. I don't want you to panic. That's really it. Don't panic. Hey, you get down a touchdown or two. Don't panic. Stay steady. Rely on your depth and just keep going. So I'll say the Steelers and the Bills are those two teams right now for me inside of the AFC conference. The NFC, I haven't paid enough attention to it. So I'll get back to you on that. Armin says the Lions are dope currently. Yeah, they're. I've loved the Lions since Dan Campbell's got there. I think he's really changed the culture there, and that's another tough game that the Steelers are going to face. A lot of tough games, guys. That's why these two games that are coming up for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Browns and the Bengals are so important, man. And we can't get Mike Tomlin here. That's the thing. Mike Tomlin got to protect himself from himself here. Mike Tomlin has to allow this team to continue to grow. I've been preaching it for years that he has to adapt and change a little bit. You have seen this year spurts of that change. Spurts. I'm not saying fully because he's not. He's kind of done some Mike Tomlin things, but there's been flashes and spurts that you have seen maybe a willingness to adapt from Mike Tomlin, and I'm not quite there yet with him. Hopefully, he continues to grow. Hopefully, he does. But man, the guy's mediocre, and I don't want that to be continue to be the theme here for 2025. I want to see Mike Tomlin take that next step here. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl early, but he won that with Bill Cowher's players. I don't care what anybody says. He did. Point blank, period. Yes, he coached the team. Yes, he gets credit for it. It was Mike's win. So he gets it. But Mike Tomlin got to continue to grow here and take that next step. You're never too old to learn, in my opinion. And I think Mike Tomlin takes that. And if he does take that next step and allow the coordinators to coordinate, allow Terrell Austin to be aggressive, allow him to mix things up and do the necessary things to be a little bit exotic in some of the looks and some of the ways they pressure the quarterback, because that's very important. We talk about that each week. If he allows that to happen, I think the defense continues to start to grow and mature. You look at the offense under Aaron Rodgers. He needs to continue to be allowed to do more, have more autonomy, have more freedom on just making the decisions that are split second decisions out there that sometimes you just go for things. You see the Steelers punt a lot in fourth and short situations near midfield. That's a Mike Tomlin thing. Maybe Aaron Rodgers starts to feel a rhythm and they get in those situations and he doesn't even have to look over to Mike Tomlin. He just goes for it, does it. I would like to see that type of maturity from the Steelers offense full of young guys. I would like to see the offensive line continue to mature. I would like to see Broderick Jones maybe stack another week here of where I thought that he did okay. I would like to continue to see Arthur Smith help out with the Spencer Anderson type additions during the game. I would like to see Darnell Washington continue to help out the offensive line, but I want to see that pass game for the tight ends continue to mature. I think that's very important. And really, basically, you look at the Steelers team and you say to yourself, they haven't even remotely close played their best game or given their best effort just yet. And they are 3-1. And you look at this team and you say to yourself, there are so many opportunities for growth. There are so many ways this football team could grow and evolve and become different that it almost starts to look scary for other teams that are facing them. Really does. You really can look at this team and say to yourself, every position has room for significant growth, but yet they're not playing horrible. They're not playing bad. They're playing winning football. And that is a good, encouraging sign for Steelers fans. Um, I, you never know. Late season collapses are Mike Tomlin's specialty. That's what he does best. That's what he's known for. So we're going to have to continue to hold our breath until you get into that late season, until you can finally get a playoff win. That's the theme of this season. Hold your breath and just pray that Mike Tomlin has found that willingness to adapt and change and allow that coaching staff to grow too. That's a big thing. Mike Tomlin got to allow this coaching staff to continue to just grow and continue to find themselves and each other. Coaching just isn't about coach your position and that's it. It's about how do those positions mesh with each other, man. This is the ultimate team game, and I hope the Steelers find that. AK says, have they said how long Ramsey will be out? No, I haven't heard a definitive answer, AK, but I will say this. They're treating it just as Joey Porter. In my opinion, they're going to treat it just like Joey Porter's hamstring. We just witnessed it with Joey Porter. I haven't been tuning into a bunch of shit because I've been trying to get a clear head about this football team. You haven't seen me. Yes, Jason's been slowing down on the YouTube, but I have really honestly been trying to take a back step and not listen to all the bullshit, not listen to a million and one different opinions. I've been just trying to take and look at this football team from an outsider's perspective without trying to be just jammed full of constant Steelers football and really try to gain a perspective on this football team without being cloudy and muddy. So, have I heard a definitive time? No, but you look at how they're going to have to handle it. It's probably going to be exactly like Joey Porter Jr. You're not going to want to bring him back too quickly. And a hamstring tear is something different for everybody. Everybody is going to respond and react and heal differently. Every single player in every single situation with a hamstring injury is going to be different. And that will come from medical doctors. They're not going to be able to give you a definitive time. Can they give you a definitive, like a ballpark range? Yeah, it's a guess range. 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe. You look at what Joey Porter has done, and he's young. So that should tell you something too. Younger guys are probably going to heal a little bit quicker. What's the degree of the tear? What's the degree of these hamstring strains that they like to call them? So we'll see, but I would say 3 weeks probably. I would say that the bye helped out tremendously. I look for a game or two without Jalen Ramsey, and then I think you could start to see the possibility of a return for Jalen. And I think Joey Porter Jr. is probably close to getting back. I think, again, this bye fell perfectly for the Steelers secondary to start to get healthy here. So I think you see Joey Porter this game or next. And then we'll have to kind of wait it out here with Jalen Ramsey. Armin, maybe it's a bit early, but do you think that Pittsburgh is going to win against Cleveland? I do think they beat Cleveland, but I think it's going to be a slugfest. It's always a slugfest. You've seen Cleveland be competitive in certain situations. A 1-4 football team though. They are what they are. You, as the coaching staff for the Steelers, you have to be able to find some weaknesses and exploit them. Every other team seems to have. They played the Packers really, really well. And that's a good football team, in my opinion. So that was their one and only signature win of the season. So, yeah, we'll see. But I think the Steelers do beat the Browns. I think they do improve to 4-1. And then we'll move on from there. I'm not willing to speculate past that. I know they have the Bengals next. I know they have Jake Browning. I know they're struggling defensively. But yet, nonetheless, I'm not willing to make a prediction on that just yet because you never know what's going to happen and you can't look past an opponent. You can't look past the week. Not for me in particular because I'm not on the football team. Neither are you. But we can't look past it in regards to there's always injuries that happen. There's always things maybe coaching wise that, maybe give us a cause for concern after you maybe see it on tape, on film. So yeah, you can't even push past it if you just talk about football. You got to kind of focus on the week that's at hand. And I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers here find themselves again in an excellent situation. And all they have to do is just continue to do what they've been doing, not go over the top, not get crazy, but just continue to grow, continue to expand on what you're doing, continue to allow the run game to mature. I just really think that's the best medicine for the offensive line, too. Continue to be able to run the football effectively, allow them to be aggressive, allow them to continue to grow, and I think you'll see good things. But I do think they beat Cleveland. Hold on, guys. We did have a super chat coming in from our friend Za Curry. What's up, Za Curry in the house? Appreciate it coming in. Coming in with the super chat. We appreciate Za coming in with that $5 super chat. Super appreciated, Za. Let's go. He says, we appreciate you, our friend Za. Let's get back to the chat here. Robert Rowe, paying more than half your allocated, or sorry, paying more than half your allotted salary cap to four players with most of that 125 million for a quarterback and two wide receivers is nuts. Cincy put all their eggs in a few baskets. Absolutely, that's what I think happened to Robert. That's exactly what I thought. I think it's spot on. That's exactly what Cincinnati did wrong. And I think that's what a lot of football teams, it's not just Cincinnati. It's a lot of teams throughout this NFL that don't understand that depth wins championships. Depth is key. It's key at every level of football. And a lot of coaches overlook that. That- and I'm not saying you go out there and you give every player a ton of reps. I'm not saying that. But you prepare them and get them as many realistic possibilities as you can and put them into those realistic possibilities and allow them to get those reps. You don't take those reps that you get and waste them and do stupid, crazy things. You never do that. You always get those players that you know could possibly be depth and add depth because you know injuries are going to happen. You know things are going to happen to where you're going to be missing key players, and you have to get that depth sorted out. You have to get the reps to the guys that deserve the reps. And I think that's at all levels of football, guys, from the littlest kids to the pros. All levels of football, depth is so important. And if you don't handle the depth and you don't get players that are confident that can come in and play when needed, you're in trouble. And I think that's exactly what happened to the Bengals. And I think it happens to a ton of football teams all around the league. What's the hardest thing to build on your football team? Going out and finding a superstar is easy. Those guys are easy to find. Those guys are easy to identify. The hardest thing is to go out there and find solid, good, competent depth pieces. That's the hardest part about building a roster at any single level. It is that. And that is where GMs earn their money. Anybody can go out there and find a DK Metcalf or franchise quarterback. We know that's hard to find because there's only 32 of them, and really not even 32 of them. But there's 32 starting jobs, and you only have really a handful of true franchise quarterbacks. So that tells you how hard that position is to find. But once you get that, man, it's all about depth. That's really what it's about, and filling out your roster. Let me get a drink. Again, we're going to get to Extra Black, our friend Extra Black. We're going to get to him here in 1 second. His comments up on the screen. Um, Guys, thank you for joining us. It's a casual conversation here today. We're just bullshitting about the football team. Your Steelers 3-1 coming out of the bye, going in hopefully a little bit healthy here against Cleveland, and we're looking for that growth. If you like to, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the follow on TikTok or X or Facebook. Make sure you are liking, sharing, all that good shit, and make sure if you feel so inclined, you support us in any way you can, and all of it is appreciated. And we are going to ramp back up here. Youth football starting to slow down here. We're getting to our last regular season game this Sunday at 11:15 here in Morgantown. So I will be home for the game. I will be able to do content Sunday. But then we go into the playoffs. So our youth football season's winding down. Then I'll just have basketball to coach, but that's not too time consuming in terms of daily. It's not daily. But we will be getting back to true mic drop fashion and just really hitting it hard. But man, taking this breath of fresh air and really looking at this football team in a different way has really opened my eyes to a lot. Extra Black, as usual, the Steelers have a good opportunity to improve position in the standings, but the Steelers have had a bad tendency to play down to competition. I think Extra Black's correct in ways there. I don't think it's about playing down. I think it's just their lack of preparation week to week. I think it's a lot of the head coach living in his fears, being a little bit too ultra conservative. I think it's maybe overthinking some things. Sometimes you overcoach things, and I found that out. I think you can overcoach. Sometimes it's not all about all the bullshit that coaching brings. Sometimes it's about this: looking at your players and saying, "Go, go get the football, attack, go play fast and free." Sometimes it's really that simple. Um, but yeah, I think the Steelers have outsmarted themselves at times. I think they've been underprepared. I think they've definitely done things in games situationally that have cost them games sometimes against certain opponents. I think they have a bad problem of once you get up on somebody, you don't put your foot on their neck. And I think a lot of coaches have that issue. I think they get laxed. Once they get a couple touchdowns, they feel like they can coast. No, you continue to put your pedal to the metal and you continue to put your foot on that team's throat. You don't want to leave no doubt. You don't want to leave any opportunity or leave that door slightly open to where a team can come and give you a little run for your money. But yes, Extra Black's right. The Steelers have been Steelered a couple times here, man, and definitely have had some definite tendency to blow some things when they necessarily don't have to or need to or maybe shouldn't. Robert Rowe, Merrill Hodge was wrong about May. He said May was the kind of player that gets coaches fired. Merrill has been more right than wrong, but he missed on that one. The Patriots have a good young team now. They do have a good young team. I thought Drake May definitely played better. I also said Drake May was going to be a bust. I thought he was going to be a guy that got a coach fired too. But I do think this. I think Drake May is in an ideal situation with Vrabel. I think Vrabel is a guy that can absolutely do the right things in order to make him efficient and give him the confidence and put a team around him that makes him feel confident enough that he can win any ball game. And that's exactly what you're looking for in a head coach that's going to give you the tools to succeed. And I think Mike Vrabel's that guy. Do I think Mike Vrabel has some deficiencies of his own? Absolutely. I can see some things sometimes that Braves does that maybe, you're like, yeah. But I think all in all, I think he's a good head coach. We'll see. But I think Drake May's in a good situation, a good match together. Delbert Leonard, thoughts on Mark Sanchez? Terrible, man. Terrible. I don't want to see anybody ever injured. I don't want to see anything bad happen to anyone on this planet. Um, it's just very, very sad. I don't know all the particulars about the Mark Sanchez situation in that incident with the stabbing, but absolutely crazy. And this world has a lot of evil in it, man, and it definitely shines through a lot. And I wish people would just start to be more thoughtful, more caring, more loving toward one another. Yeah, I don't agree with a lot of shit either. And I know we all have our own differences, but overall, I'm going to respect everybody because it's not my job to judge anybody. It's not my job to cast any type of judgment on anyone in particular. I know what a sin is. I know when, and that's what if I believe you're a sinner, you're a sinner. I'm not going to sit here and dog you or anything like that. God can sort that out. But yeah, we just got too much hate in this world, man, and too many misguided people and too many crazy ideas. And people think violence is the answer, and violence is not, dude. It takes a bigger man to walk away. It takes a bigger man to use common sense. I have more respect for men that think and use their brain than I do men that use their fists. If you want to use your physical attributes to inflict force and pain, play football. There you go. That's what you need to do. But the Mark Sanchez situation is just absolutely terrible. Prayers to Mark Sanchez. Andrew Man 69. Every real Steelers fan knows we're going to lose this game against the Brown. I've been a Steeler fan for a long time, as you can tell. I've been around this game a long time, and I'm not saying that they won't lose it, but I got to say this: from what I've seen so far this season. And what I've seen each week happen, have there been setbacks? Yes. Have there been some deficiencies that are cause for concern? Absolutely. But I got to say one thing about this Mike Tomlin football team, and that is they have grown. They have done things each and every week that shows me some sort of growth. Is it growth that maybe jumps off the page, jumps off the stat sheet at you, jumps out of your television set right in your face? No, it's growth that you really got to look at real, real hard. But yet, every week I've seen growth, and I've seen growth from players that, people were saying are busts, that are horrible. They're not going to make it, but yet I've seen some growth. And I think that's the difference between this Mike Tomlin football team and then what we've seen in the past. Other Tomlin football teams, the product is the product, and you're not getting anything different. And you don't see a ton of growth from them. They're either going to hold on and win or they're going to lose ugly. That's a typical Mike Tomlin football team. I think this Steeler team has showed growth, and I think that any football game they're going to be in, regardless if they go down a score or two early. I think they'd still be able to find a way to claw themselves back in. I think there's enough veteran leadership. I think there's enough coaching leadership across the board. I really truly believe this is a more complete and a little bit different football team than what we've seen in the past. So I'm gonna go with they can beat this Cleveland team, and they should. Robert Road, we are not losing at home against the Browns. That's from Robert Road. Za says, hey, brother, been missing you and the best Steelers chat on the web. Absolutely. We love it. I agree. It's better to have your own assessment and not go with the main ESPN narrative. No, yeah, that's one thing you won't get from me. I look at this football team and exactly what I just told you guys. I think there's a path that the Steelers can do really, really well. I really do think that. But yet again, I do see a path, and this is reality, that the Steelers could really fall off the face of the map of the playoff team landscape. I really do think that there's a path for that too. I think really right now the Steelers are walking that fine line. And that's what I was talking about with their growth. They got to continue to keep their foot on the other side of that line and not fall back to that bad side. They need to continue to get farther and farther away from that midline. They just got to continue to grow. And I hope that I'm right there. I hope that what I'm seeing is accurate. But man, I'm seeing growth. I'm seeing growth from Broderick Jones. I'm seeing growth from Mason McCormick. I'm seeing growth from Zach Frazier. Isaac Seumalo, I think he's performing well overall. I don't think he's played horrible. Now, is there a lot of room to get better? Absolutely. I think all of them could. But I could see growth against the Minnesota Vikings. I could see some growth throughout this season. Whether it's small growth or not, growth is growth. And I think we've seen that from this team. My Floyd is Pink 79. Mike Tomlin trademark. We lose to rookie quarterbacks. Wouldn't be surprised if we lose to the Browns next week. A lot of my Steeler fans, man, are really down on our Steelers this week. Maybe I should pick against them too. Miss P in the building. She says Cleveland is the number one defense. Ain't no doubt in my mind they're going to come to play. Absolutely. Every team in the NFL is good, man, and every team can do special things. And definitely, you can't shy away and overlook any of those things. Tom, ain't no party like a Diddy party forward. What's up, Jason, and the rest of the chat? Good to see you, Tom. Wave those terrible towels for Miss P. I think they got this. That's for Miss P. Tom Ford says, "Can someone please explain to me why that Jalen Ramsey touchdown what's called back during the Pittsburgh versus Minnesota game in Dublin, Ireland? Oh shit, I can't remember what it was called back for. Some sort of penalty or something. I don't remember. Um, I can't remember. I have to look at it again, Tom. I literally cannot remember for the life of me. Zach Curry, Vegas was trying to hand the Vikings the game. Yeah, they try sometimes. Zach says Lamar is hurt too. I just found out last week Steelers are in a great position currently. I feel if A Rod stays healthy, we got a chance at two playoff wins. Definitely health is always key. Absolutely, Zah. Without a doubt, health is key. And you're seeing that again with that secondary of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The health concerns definitely are troublesome, and definitely I think the Steelers have done a good job in handling that. So I got to applaud Mike Tomlin and give him credit when credit's due. I ride his ass hard, man, sometimes. And I point out his deficiencies, but I'm going to point out this. Mike Tomlin has done an excellent job with managing that secondary and continuing to be able to put a product out on the field that is able to be successful. Yes, they get gashed. Yes, they give up a ton of yards, but they're winning ball games and it's a serviceable unit. And when you're dealing with a shit ton of injuries, guys, that's a little bit harder than you even think. And we got to give Mike Tomlin credit for continuing to be able to win here, regardless of the injuries and regardless of the excuses. And that's what we've wanted from Mike Tomlin. We have not wanted to hear the excuses. We have just wanted to see a good product and a solid winning football team. And I think that got to be applauded right now through 4 weeks. Yeah, they had a stumble against the Seahawks, but there was a lot of different things there that could have went differently. Robert Rhodes Sanchez has been charged with assault on a 69-year-old man. The 69-year-old man remains in the hospital and was stabbed by Sanchez. That's what that was? I thought he got stabbed. Wow. I didn't know that. I have not paid attention to it, guys. I'm telling you. I thought Mark Sanchez got stabbed. Thank you, Robert, for the update. I wish I'd have seen that sooner. Well, I don't feel bad for him then. Again, I don't know enough about the situation. I just don't want no one to get stabbed. I think we should have some love for each other. I think we should have respect for each other, and never let our differences, never let an argument lead to any type of violence. That's my take, regardless of who's injured, who's not, um, who did what, or who did this. Everybody needs to be better to each other. And if that's the case, that's fucking crazy, Robert. I didn't even pay attention. I'm going to the Steelers Browns game this weekend. That's Tom Ford, big Tom Ford. Wow, I'm think we're going to the Packers or the Miami game. We haven't decided yet. We're just going to buy tickets, so we'll see how that all works out. But enjoy yourself, Tom. Robert Rhodes says it has to play out in court, but the old guy defended himself. Is what is believed to have happened. Wow, did Sanchez get arrested? Let me know if he got arrested. I honestly didn't pay attention to it. Zod says, I think A Rod is the one who takes us to even winning the division. He owes us that at a minimum. Yeah, he does owe us. Nah, dude, we got this, but it's always the battle in our division, no matter what. That's from Zod. Robert says the Vikings player touched the ball while out of bounds, meaning the play was over. Yeah, okay, that's what it was, Robert. I couldn't remember. Guys, I'm telling you, Jason has been. I have separated myself, man, out of the loop a little bit, maybe a little too far, because I didn't know about the Mark Sanchez shit. I knew something happened. I remember hearing something, but I didn't know exactly what the details were. That's why I was kind of vague with what I was saying because it's like, shit, that's crazy. We had the same record with quarterbacks who are currently 0-6 combined. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Tomlin does deserve credit. Yeah, I'll give him credit, man, with this team so far. Both got stabbed from our man. Sanchez was drunk. Wow. Alcohol will do that to you. Andrew, man, he butt fumbled and then stabbed the guy. Wow. Sanchez, fifth degree? I didn't know there was a fifth degree. He got arrested. Wow. That's crazy. I'm going to have to read that story and look at it tonight. Detaching feels great. It does, though. I needed it, guys. I was so wore out, man. I put so much into this, dude. Yeah, I could do more. Um, in terms of like upgrades on equipment and stuff, but we're slowly doing that. We're still letting our account build up to where we can buy some different things. But I've bought nice mics and things like that. Right now, I just got to get a new computer to run all my things off of. I've gotten everything: the mics, the soundboards, the apps. I've gotten everything like that. So really, now both my computers took a shit. Uh, so I've been just using my phone really for everything, but I've always recorded off my phone. So really, right now, I'm just letting funds build up to grab a new computer. I don't really like to invest a ton on my own. I try to like let the channel reinvest itself. But we'll see. That should be soon, and we'll continue to dive in and go farther. But man, it does. I needed a break. I put so much work and time into it, and it was just again feeling like a job. So I've just been chilling, man. Oh my God, they're going to fumble Mark's butt in prison. That's Andrew, man. Tom Ford says Mark Sanchez was arrested after being stabbed in Indianapolis. He faces charges including felony battery, misdemeanor battery, unlawful entry of a vehicle, and public intoxication. Well, if he did something crazy, then he deserves to go to jail, just like anybody else would. Curry, brick by brick. Good evening, Roberta Campbell in the house. My Floyd is Pink 79. You're the best, Jason. Glad I found your channel during the off season. Man, I'm glad you're here. My Floyd is Pink. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Again, thank you to everybody coming in. We appreciate you all. Make sure you're hitting that like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We're just here having a casual conversation here on a Monday. No real agenda for me. Just kind of going off of your comments and kind of feeding off of that. You guys know I freestyle this shit most of the time. Yeah, I got a lot of notes, but I don't really read off of anything. Just kind of freestyle and kind of see how this thing goes. You know, this isn't your typical everything got to be perfect X's and O's wise and all that type of shit. That ain't the type of channel this is. We're just here talking and bullshitting. That's all. And everybody's welcome too. Everybody's welcome, regardless of fandom. But I will say this: all you Ravens fans that were trying to bust my nuts, telling me all off season that this was their year, they were going to be Super Bowl champs. This was their year. I told you. I mean, it is what it is. Wave that terrible towel for Miss P. C83. Anything on him? Mike Tomlin should have his press conference tomorrow. He didn't have one last Tuesday because it was the bye week. So he should be back tomorrow for Tomlin Tuesday. So we should get a definitive update on Calvin Austin III. We should get a definitive update on all injuries, at least as much as they're willing to let out. But yeah, uh, I don't know. The so called insiders, they always report on these injuries, but I don't know. They ain't usually right either. Thank you to Miss P. Like, subscribe, and share. The best show in the nation is right here. Let's go wave those towels for Miss P. We appreciate her. Roberta Campbell. Yes, the Steelers had a great day yesterday. Now, hopefully, they come back from the bye and beat the Browns and Bengals next week. Absolutely, man. I would love nothing more than a 5-1 football team, man. It would be amazing to have a 5-1 football team. But guess what, guys? We've seen this story before. We saw a 10-2 Pittsburgh Steelers team in 2024. We saw a 10-2, 10-3, and it just kept going downhill. We saw it, guys. We saw it last year. A 10-win football team under Russie Wilson, who can't see over the line without being standing on a high chair. And we were 10-2. Here we are, finding ourselves 3-1. Does the Tomlin here? Does Tomlin the Steelers? Question. That's the question. Can Mike Tomlin get out of his own effing way? That's the real concern here, my friends. That's the real concern. Isn't it sad to be walking on eggshells, though? Mike Tomlin's got to do something different this year, man. He's got to prove us wrong. And that's why I'm holding out hope. But that's why I'm not getting overly high or overly low. Right now, as it sits, the Steelers got issues, but I have seen growth. I've seen steady growth. Do I think that they're one of the top couple teams in the AFC right now? I do. But it can always happen, and we've seen it year after year, man, with Mike Tomlin. Mark Malone, Sanchez and the other guy were fighting over a truck stop hooker. Oh, shit. I love it. I wish the emoji showed up here on this app. I gotta Nick, sleeper sports guy, Nick. Guys remember Nick, Slick Nick? He told me that YouTube is doing some updates here that are going to be doing some different things. So hopefully that benefits us in some of our emojis and some of the ways that we're going to be able to stream. Supposedly, now I don't know how true this is. This was from Nick that when we do our stream here, we're going to be able to go back into the vertical presentation also. So our vertical presentation of our show will be back into the live stream feed, which is always good. We always do banging numbers on the vertical presentation. Maybe we should do a show on there again here and there every once in a while. We always do banging numbers on those for some reason, you know. We've had like 8,000 views on those, which is nice. So maybe we'll do them. Maybe we'll do it again here and there. But I like this format because I can see your comments really well. We can play our intro and outro. So hopefully that'll help us with all that. Miss Pittsburgh celebrates 18 months as a Mike Drop Mafia member. Props to our girl and resident Steeler fan, Miss Pittsburgh. We appreciate you, Miss P. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Za Curry, well, the Ravens started out how we did, a little sloppy and got better as time went on. The trend should continue. Cam wants that Lombardi. I hope, Za. I hope. Also, guys, we will be doing this, but this is going to happen. Sean donated the jersey. He won the jersey. So Sean won the jersey. But he donated it back. So we are going to do it again, but we're not going to do it until after I'm done coaching youth football. Like I said, it'll be a few more weeks. So make sure you remember that. We will do that again. Sean was so nice enough to do that. So we'll do that again and try to figure out how to get rid of it here the best way, the funnest way possible. So we'll do that. We'll see what happens, but I'll try to think of something cool and different. The Steelers will get Tomlin after he gets his non-losing season. That's from Tom Ford. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Armand, Pittsburgh could start 5-1 and finish 10-7 and still win the AFC North. Yeah, the math does work that way, Armand, if you look at it, no doubt. Robert Road, with the lack of production / trust in Roman Wilson, I think Scotty Miller catches a few against the Browns if CA3 misses as expected. Yeah, I don't think it's I, guys, I think the Roman Wilson situation is far more complex. I really, really do. I think Roman Wilson, I don't think is in the doghouse. I think they believe he has talent and that he can do things. I think that the opportunity just hasn't been there in terms of the situation. Uh, I just think again, there's more layers to it than we're getting at, and I need to do a show on that and really dive into what I think is the issues with Roman Wilson. But like Tom said, maybe there is a little bit of a lack of confidence right now, but I think the Steelers still have tremendous high hopes for him. Um, but we need to take a deep dive into the Roman Wilson thing. Ben Skowronek isn't bad. No, he's really, really good. Ben Skowronek's really, really good and very, very underrated. He does the dirty work, guys. You know he's going to go out there and block. You know he's going to perform well in special teams. You know he's good for a splash play every couple weeks. Ben Skowronek is definitely overlooked. He will catch the football in big moments and score. Ben Skowronek is the guy that definitely is really, really underappreciated and definitely a guy that I was lobbying for all off season. And I said it. You guys can go back and watch the shows. I've been really, really, really intrigued by the play of Ben Skowronek, and I think that he could do as much as you want. Is he a number 1, 2 guy? No, he's a 4. He's a 4 on the depth chart. Yeah, that's what he is. But he's a 4 that will come out there and get the job done, and he can play special teams, and he really possesses some real value to the Steelers. My Floyd is Pink 79. This show has been a damn good show. Thank you, my Floyd. I appreciate you, my friend. Talking trash with the Steelers gang. What's up? Good to see you. Robert Road, is that a 2X or 3X size jersey? Oh, it's not. It's a large or no, it's a medium. This is schmedium. That was a schmedium, my friends. Yeah. It's more of a wall hanger, guys. It's signed. So congrats to Miss P. Absolutely. I think Jason going to frame it for us over. I try to. I wanted to. I wanted to get to 15,000 subscribers. I said I'd frame it then, but we haven't hit that. I just want to get to 5,000. We've been like literally, dude. We got to like so many subscribers, then it was just like, but hey, we'll get back. We'll get back to being top dog. Who are you talking about? Oh, Roman. Yeah, he may be wrong. I got to take a deeper dive into him, man. I need to take a real deep dive into him. I hate to ever give too much inaccurate information. I already feel like a dick for not knowing the Mark Sanchez stuff, but hey. Ben Sco is trash. Stop playing. Yeah, yeah, he's trash. He does it. He gets it done anytime his number's called. What does Ben Skoranek do? Score touchdowns, score on special teams, recover fumbles on special teams, block his ass off in the run game. Yet that's not terrible to me. That's a guy that plays fucking ball, baby. I don't see how that's terrible. I don't see how that's trash. I think he's such a valuable asset. And I think anybody that really doesn't think that, I think you're not looking at the same player I am, or you really don't know football. That's just, and I'm not trying to be a dog to anybody or a dick to anybody. I'm just saying that's the truth. If you're looking at Ben Skoranek and you're saying trash, if that word comes out of your mouth and with the name Ben Skoranek, you don't know ball, bro. Hate to tell you. And I'm not being mean. I'm just telling you, you couldn't have said a comment uh, more leading to that you don't know football, if that's what you say. What's up, Big Sean? Epic Expeditions in the house. Robert Rowe, great blocker and special teamer. Absolutely. People don't realize, Robert, how important that is. Depth, depth, depth. Special teams guys. What happens when you have good depth in the NFL? You have good special teams. Good depth equals good special teams. Sean is in the house. What's going on, Sean? Medium will fit me perfect. Yeah, it's more of a wall hanger, Za. Well, if it's framed, it's different. Yeah, no doubt. It's not. See, you're talking trash with the Steelers game. This is what you're saying. This is what's wrong. And I can see what your perspective is already, and it's okay. You're allowed it. It's your opinion. You're allowed to have it, but you don't know ball because you're only looking at statistics. You're like a pro football focus guy. I can tell already, without even having a real conversation with you. You're a pro football focus guy because you're just looking at numbers. You're not looking at any of the football variables that really matter, man. And Ben Skoranek does so much behind the scenes of what you're looking at as a numbers guy, as a casual fan that doesn't really look at the team intricately. Ben Skoranek does things that others won't. Let's be frank. And I think that you're not seeing that value, and that's the problem. And that's okay. Everybody doesn't know ball like that. Boy, the internet is such better place without a bunch of Ravens fans tooting their horns. Hey, man, I was thinking that, Sean. Yes, yes, yes. That was that wrong with that kid Inger that always comes in here. He finds a way. I delete him and he finds a way back in here. But he is such a Raven bandwagon kid, man. And he'll come in and be like, "Oh, the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl." He'd still probably be saying that shit. It's you, Jamal. Jamal. Jamal, I'm disappointed in you, bro. Disappointed with that one. You know better, Jamal. What the hell did you change your name to? Talking trash with the Steeler gang. I didn't even know that was you. That wasn't a Jamal comment. Jamal, you go off on some. I'll give you that. You go off on one every once in a while. But even you know better than that, Jamal. I agree. Jamal, I'm saddened, bro. I'm saddened by your comment. I still love you, but bro, it made you sound like you don't know ball, bro. Come on now, Jamal. Hey, oh, speaking about Jamal, I went over and I said, "What's up? You're working with somebody on that channel, right?" Because they were like, "Oh, it's my channel. He co-hosts or something." Because I was like, Jamal told me to check it out, so I checked it out, and yeah, but yeah, what's up? I did check it out though. But I'm disappointed in your comment. I like the name "Talking Trash with Steeler Gang." That's a nice name. That's a catchy name. I never intended for this show to just be Steelers football, though. I always intended to use it just as like a starting point, Steelers football. I wanted to broaden it out into more, but yeah, here we are. All right, guys, I'm getting off here, man. I had enough for today. But man, Jamal, do your research. Do your research, Jamal. Ben Skoranek is that guy, baby. All right. Love y'all. Y'all are the best, man. I appreciate you all. We will be back hopefully a couple times this week. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but Jason's going to try to do more. Try to do more. So until then, yeah, it is what it is, man. Peace, my friends.
Power takes an approach as a coach. Let's go. Let's go. It's a field back block, and that's
He's the guy that throws his body around.
Mike Drop Sports. Steel City Live.